Now to the man who could be more responsible than any other individual for putting Sir Keir Starmer into Downing Street. Good morning,
You've got
Mr.
to
Farage.
laugh, haven't you? You've got to laugh, Trevor. You follow this narrative that all the media follow. Let's get it straight. We've had 14 years of Conservative government, a mega majority in 2019, which I significantly helped them to obtain. Millions of those voters...
I've made that point this morning, by the way.
Utterly betrayed. If I'd stayed at home, if I'd gone to the Bahamas fishing for the month, Keir Starmer would have won a big majority anyway. And many of our voters, if they're polled and spoken to, if we weren't here, wouldn't vote for anybody.
When Nigel Farage sat down opposite Trevor Phillips on live TV, it wasn't just an interview. It was a real battle, full of tension and emotion. Trevor Phillips is known for his ruthless manner of conducting conversation. He is not afraid to put pressure on his guests, making them nervous and sweat. People admire him for the fact that he does not leave anyone without attention and always seeks the truth. But here's the point. Nigel Farage wasn't just defending his position, he was ready for a real fight. This controversial figure of British politics did not seem to be intimidated by Phillips' tough style, but on the contrary, gladly accepted his challenge. Why? Because Farage thrives in stressful situations like a fish in water. He understands that arguments are an integral part of the game and he plays them better than many. It was not just a discussion of politics between two men, but a clash between two powerful personalities, each of whom was ready to defend their beliefs to the end. The topics were sharp and provocative: racism, leadership, and Farage's global alliances. For the audience, it was not just an interview, but an exciting spectacle, an opportunity to witness a real duel of ideas and passions. What happened next? Let's take a closer look at this.
Let's start with the unambiguously racist remarks made by one of your own volunteers, Andrew Parker. Now, you said this is a setup.
I know it is.
Do you have a single shred of proof?
Well, I'll tell you who he is. He's an actor, okay, number one.
All sorts of people are actors. That's not proof that this was a setup. Have you got any proof?
He's an actor with a rather well-spoken actor, but he has an alter ego. He does what he calls rough speaking, all right? I was there working in the office in Essex when he turned up, and he was, from the moment he walked through the room, like a version of Alf Garnett. Now, I didn't know this was an act. It was an act from the start to the end. He spent time with the two Channel 4 undercover reporters in the office. In fact, he spent most of the morning with them. He then said, I've got a big car. He took canvassers out with Channel 4 in the car with him. He tried to get our canvassers to say nasty racist things, which of course they did not.
When the cameras turned on, the atmosphere instantly changed, and it was completely unexpected for everyone. Before Trevor Phillips could deliver his opening remarks, Nigel Farage burst into loud laughter. This laugh wasn't nervous or dismissive. It sounded confident and calculated, as if it was specifically designed to confuse Phillips. What caused such a reaction? Farage couldn't resist grinning, reminding Phillips of his previous attempts to cancel his participation, hinting at the absurdity of the whole situation. That laugh wasn't just a light giggle, it was a real challenge. Farage did not come to evade questions or avoid arguments. He was ready to face any accusations, face to face. Phillips, known for his sharp mind and concentration, tried to ignore this and maintain control of the situation. However, Farage's reaction set the tone for what was to come. This interview was not going to be a one-sided interrogation. It was obvious that Farage intended to take the initiative, and the audience understood that something exciting was ahead of us.
And then he comes out with this, and literally Alf Garnett stream, including all mosques should be turned into Weatherspoons. This was an act from start to finish. It was a deliberate attempt to derail our campaign.
I've let you explain yourself. There's a number of things in that. There's not actually anything in that that says that you know that this was a setup. But what I think is even more interesting is...
Well, hang on.
Let me finish my question. You just said the guy came in and he was a walking Alf Garnett.
In accent terms.
Yeah.
In accent terms. He didn't say anything offensive to me at all. It was only when he got a couple of our canvassers in the car with Channel 4 filming that he tried to provoke them. He also, by the way, specialises his services online includes undercover filming.
But you still don't have any proof that actually he wasn't genuinely a guy who decided he wanted to support.
Well, if you wanted to support us, why not come as the person you really are? Why come using your false acting voice?
Nigel Farage is a man who is not just used to being in the spotlight, he lives in it. Over the years, he faced the toughest British media interviewers, such as Trevor Phillips and Andrew Neil, who did not spare him in their questions. But Farage is not backing down. He continues to enter the arena, ready to respond to any accusations, be it racism or controversial alliances. He does not hide from these hot topics, but, on the contrary, uses pressure as a powerful tool to demonstrate his commitment to transparency and honesty. And that's where the most exciting part begins. While Farage defends his views with indomitable determination in difficult interviews, where is Keir Starmer? The leader of the Labour Party, despite the fact that he heads one of the largest political parties in the country, avoids such situations. They pose a danger to him. Critics are wondering, how can a leader count on public trust if he avoids close attention? The contrast between them is striking and causes a storm of emotions. Who really demonstrates true leadership? Farage's constant willingness to join the fight may not be to everyone's liking, but it clearly shows that he is not afraid to face any challenges, ready to fight for his beliefs.
How many of you had to disown so far?
A few. I inherited...
What's a few? 2, 6,
No,
100?
perhaps a dozen, something like that. Look, Trevor, you know me well enough. We've known each other 20 years. You know that I fought harder than anyone to drive the BNP out as an electoral force, and I did so with...
I've got a bone to pick with you about that, but we'll come back to that later.
Success. When I ran UKIP for all those years, and when I set the Brexit Party up, didn't allow anybody to even be a member who'd been part of one of those groups. Now, I have inherited a startup. I've not even been doing this a month, and I've got some people there I'd rather weren't there, and they won't be after next Thursday at all.
During the interview, the audience didn't just express their opinions. They were seething with emotions, and social networks literally exploded with reactions to what was happening. Many were quick to criticize Trevor Phillips' approach, and the general conclusion was unequivocal. Each of his questions seemed aimed at accusing Farage of racism. Instead of having a constructive dialogue, the interview resembled a pre-planned attack full of tension and conflict. Some called it a desperate attempt to discredit Farage, while others accused the media of cowardice and unwillingness to face real problems. On the other hand, Farage has become an object of admiration for his composure. Despite the sharp and provocative questions, he remained calm and focused, backing up his answers with convincing facts and logic. Farage's straightforwardness stood out against this predictability like a bright star in the night sky. The public reaction was caused not only by the interview itself, but also by broader criticism of how politicians and the media interact with each other. People are clearly tired of cliched stories and crave real, sincere conversations, not rehearsed attacks that do not bring any benefit.
Let's just talk about the thing that I think most interests you, which is the future of the right. If you win your seat on Thursday, you're going to spend the next 5 years tormenting the Tories. You've promised them that.
No, replacing them.
Okay. Well, actually, that's the point.
Replacing them.
Is your aim to join up with them or to destroy? Is this a merger or a murder?
No, they have destroyed themselves. They're only being held together by an electoral system. And by the way, this time next Sunday, you will be discussing how unfit for purpose absolute first past the post is, I promise you, because Labour are going to win a vast number of seats on not a very big share of the vote, and you'll probably find people like us with many, many, many millions of votes will win seats, but nowhere near as many, perhaps, as we deserve. I've been back a month. It's a month tomorrow that I've been back doing.
Trevor Phillips did not stop discussing domestic politics and boldly accused Nigel Farage of allegedly supporting such controversial figures as Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. These accusations could easily ruin any interview, but not this time. Farage did not shy away from sharp questions. On the contrary, he rushed into battle with full determination. He stated that understanding world leaders, even those who cause controversy, is absolutely essential for Britain's future. According to him, we don't have to agree with someone to be aware of their impact on the global arena. Farage wasn't just trying to justify himself. He used this moment to loudly declare how, in his opinion, British politics sorely lacks a strategic vision. While others focus on criticizing world leaders, Farage believes that it is necessary to look at the big picture and understand how global changes are affecting the UK. He argues that simply rejecting people like Trump or Putin is short-sighted and even dangerous. Instead, he advocates a pragmatic approach to understanding the problems they pose. This point of view is hotly debated, but one thing is clear: Farage is not afraid to enter disputed territory if he believes it really matters. His courage and willingness to open discussion make him a real player in the political arena.
We've built up, we've now got 60,000 people paying me 25 quid. We've got a mailing list.
Okay.
Whatever 200. What I'm going to do, not just in Parliament, but out in the country more importantly, we're going to build a mass movement for real change.
Okay. Well, look, this mass movement, I want to ask you about its character. As you said, we've known each other a while, and I want to put this to you personally, so give me a moment to explain it.
Sure.
I know intuitively when somebody doesn't like me because of my colour. That's not you.
No.
At the moment when the interview seemed to have reached its climax, a shocking turn of events occurred. Trevor Phillips, accusing Nigel Farage of racism, uttered an extremely offensive, racist expression. This term has long been recognized as inappropriate and derogatory, and Phillips' choice in such a situation was a real stab in the back. For a man who supposedly fights for racial equality, it looked like blatant hypocrisy. How could he say such a word while accusing another of perpetuating racism? It was just incredible and shocking. Farage did not miss the opportunity to take advantage of this moment. He ironically pointed out the absurdity of being called a racist because someone accidentally used the term in public. The reaction was instant. Viewers on social media began furiously criticizing Phillips for what they considered a serious mistake. Many were completely shocked and deeply disappointed that a man in his position could utter such a word. It wasn't just inappropriate, it was insulting and outrageous. What is your opinion about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you.